by the obviously authentic channel. My name's Leah, that's spelled Lea and not Leah. So we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of New Jersey. Sorry that this is late, but like I stated in my Married to Medicine review, your girl's in school, so that comes before anything. But I'm going to give you these videos when I can. So let's talk about it. I didn't think this episode was that much. Like, if I had to rate it, I probably would give it like a C. It wasn't that juicy to me. But if you see me looking down, looking at my notes, we're going to try to go, I'm going to do person by person because I think that will get everything out the way. Dolores didn't really have much this episode. Dolores could really be demoted to a friend of a show. Like, I genuinely like Dolores. Like, I really do. But, like, she doesn't add much to the, like, some of these episodes, she's not adding much. But it seems like she's going to be adding more as the season goes on based off of what I saw in the trailer. So then we have Melissa and Jen. So basically, Jennifer actually tells Melissa about what the Michelle chick said. So we end up finding out that Michelle is Teresa's realtor because we know Teresa is trying to sell her home. And I was actually proud of Jen that she came to her and she was very calm and she was very she did the right thing, in my opinion. Like, it's an awkward situation to be in, but she genuinely, like, she's told her, like, don't shoot the messenger. I just want to tell you, since they're basically trying to, like, be on a new path. So Melissa was upset, and granted, anybody would be, like, you don't want rumors or ill messages out there that, like, defame or tarnish your husband's character. Because when people think you funny with money and you're in the business of, like, you're a business owner, people don't want to mess with you. So I understood her frustrations about the situation. So then we see everyone eating lunch at this time. So I think that's when they had a conversation. Early on, they were all on the porch and we got to see like pictures of Teresa and her new boyfriend. He's 41. He's a good looking dude. He looks way better than Joe, so she upgraded. And he's a pool contractor and his name is Tony. And I think we're going to meet him next episode. So that should be cute. But Melissa, so then we get over to Melissa. So we're sitting at the table, they're eating lunch, like all the women are together, and Melissa and Jennifer decide to tell everybody what Michelle told Jennifer. So they're talking about it, and Melissa was kind of taken aback because I guess she thought Teresa would be more angry because they're friends, and she felt like, you know, Teresa always complains and bitches about Melissa and Joe not standing up for her. But in this instance, I totally get where Melissa is coming from, but I also get where Teresa's coming from. Like, when Melissa got up from the table to call her husband, Teresa said, you just don't know what these men be doing. And she's right, because, like, she thought everything was taken care of with Joe. Granted, I do think Teresa knew that something about in the milk won't clean. Like, but I don't think she knew, like, the nitty gritty details of what her husband was really doing. And she got locked up for it. And Teresa even said, like, I thought everything was okay. I trusted my husband and I got locked up. So I feel like Melissa should have took that into consideration instead of just being very frustrated and angry that Teresa didn't, like, immediately, like, turn into an attack dog about the situation. But I'm with Teresa. Like, sis done went to jail. And maybe that opened up her eyes. And maybe she met women in jail who were there because of their relation to men that they were with. And they got put away. So I'm just kind of like, Melissa, like, thanks, sis. Your sister-in-law is like a cautionary tale, in my opinion. So then we see Melissa speaking to Joe. And basically what Joe says is that he really didn't know. I think the guy's name is John. So Michelle and John. So he said he really didn't know John, but that his friends put him together with John. So they, like, had employed 10 people to help out with registering people, I guess, like, at the table when you come in. And he was like, we paid them and that was it. But then all of a sudden, John was asking, well, how much money did you make? So I'm guessing what Joe is saying is that, like, because the story was kind of weird to me too. So it might be some truth to this. Because we know, side note, we know that Joe has always been exposed for posting or plagiarizing other people's work as his own. Like, I even saw a picture where I was like, Joe didn't think it through, because the old house and the new house were on two different plots of land, and you could tell it was two different plots of land, and the driveways were totally different, and the framework of the house that he said he remodeled was totally different from the new house. So it was like, bruh, come on, Joe, come on. But basically, he basically said that, like, he paid John, but then John felt some type of way because I guess the event did so well because it was grown with Gorga, and like I said, the event did so well that John wanted more money. So that's what I think that's what Joe was trying to say. Because in that conversation, it was kind of weird to me because I was like, did you pay him or didn't you pay him? But I think he said he did pay him, and just that John wanted more money than what he got because he felt like he should have got more money based off of how successful the event went. So I was like, okay. So then we switch over to Jackie, and we see Jackie with her brother and her mom and her kids. Weird thing to me was, like, I didn't understand why they kept referring to her brother as Uncle Mikey and his wife as Rebecca, Aunt Rebecca, because I got why kids say that, but I always see my parents refer to their siblings by their first name. And it was just weird to me, unless the brother asked, like, hey, I want y'all to refer to me as Uncle Mikey, and she wants to go by Aunt Rebecca, because we end up finding out that her brother, it does have a learning disability, but he also got corona. So him and his wife and his in-laws went on a cruise, and I guess he got sick on the cruise and got stuck on a cruise that was only supposed to be 2 weeks for a month. And I know when that was happening early on, when the panorama started, people that were on cruises weren't allowed to, like, get off the ship. So I was like, oh, that must have been horrible, because I've been on cruises and, like, they're nice and whatever, but after a while you be ready to get off and be on dry land. Like, if people were meant to be mermaids, we would have been in the ocean, in my opinion. So, like, it's cute to be on the ocean for like a week or 2 weeks, but after that, like, put me back on the solid ground. But she asked her brother about her situation with Teresa. This is the point where I'm starting to get annoyed with this storyline and with Jackie. Because Jackie was like, me and Teresa, like, she was my friend. And I'm like, in what world were y'all truly friends, Jackie? Y'all have been at odds since you got on the scene. So in what world did you think Teresa was your homegirl or your good sis, where y'all were she was gonna right her wrongs? Like, you even said you think Teresa is stupid. Like, you haven't said she's stupid, but you have said it in a not, like, you refer to her intelligence all the time, just like you refer to your own intelligence all the time. So to me, it's weird that you were like, we're homies, like, you're my friend. No, y'all were never friends. Y'all have never been friends. And that's why I don't get why you're taking this so seriously and so angrily, because it's like, yes, I know it was wrong for what Teresa did. Like, I'm down with you with that. Like, Teresa was out of order. Like, she was wrong. But it's like, Jackie, the emotion that you have for this situation honestly makes me feel like your husband, Evan, has cheated on you. Like, I get the whole, like, reputation because he's in finance and things like that. And in that sector of the world, that might seriously be important. But the way that you are giving this situation so much light for her to, like, apologize to your husband and all of this stuff, it makes me genuinely feel, and you put so much emphasis about, like, who said it, and tell me that, and you need Teresa to say this is a lie. It makes me feel like Evan has cheated in the past and you just having, like, flashbacks. Because yes, what Teresa did was stupid and it was wrong, but I feel like you giving it too much energy. Also, you was out of line for mentioning Gia. You were out of line. There was so many other analogies like you could use. You could have used her ex-husband. You could have used anybody other than her kids. Like, how she feels about her children. Granted, I totally got that it was an analogy, but I feel like you meant to hit her in her chest, and you did. So now you have to deal with the repercussions of hitting her in her chest and her not being sorry. Because even in this episode, Teresa even said, like, Dolores asked at the table, like, if she apologizes about Gia, will you apologize about Evan? And Teresa kind of was like, no, but like she definitely needs to apologize about Gia. But they both should apologize, in my opinion. Granted, I'm with Jackie saying like, I'm not sorry, but I feel like you knew you was trying to hurt her, so just take ownership. Like I wouldn't even, I'd be like, you know what, I'm sorry I tried to hurt you with the analogy, but I wanted you to feel how bad it felt for you to say those things and leave it at that. And then Teresa could give you a half-ass apology, because she's not gonna apologize. I feel like we're beating a dead horse. Why are you constantly wanting an apology for someone who does not feel wrong for what they did? That's just stupid to me. But I was with her brother, because her brother basically said, like, move on from the situation. Like, be around real people. And I'm with that. So then we switch back over to the ladies at the table. They're back at home. It's dinner time. The food that the chef prepared looked really good. And we found out that Margaret is writing a memoirs, which congratulations to her. I hope her book does well. And then she made a reference about actually being pressured to have sex with her boss. So I guess around the time in the 80s, that was the work culture. Everybody was sleeping with everybody. That's just what you did. But she felt like she got pressured to sleep with her boss. Like she went out with him to go get fabric, and then they ended up back at his place, and she ended up having sex with him. And Jennifer made an ignorant comment, in my opinion, where she was just like, I would have just took that to the grave. Like some things you just don't put in a book or say like on TV. Which is like, no, people should speak about these things. And like Margaret said, if she could stop other people from making the mistakes that she made and they can acquire success, then she wants to do that. So I think that's good for her. So then we see, what's it called? We see Margaret and Jackie meeting up. So like the trip is over and they out hanging out and stuff. And Margaret is taking up for Teresa and is pissing off Jackie, which I understand. But at this point, like Jen said, Teresa couldn't stop mentioning Jackie at the on the girls trip, and Jackie hasn't stopped mentioning Teresa. Like both of y'all are being insufferable, and it's quite annoying. Cause at this point, like if I was Jackie, I just would be around Teresa, but I wouldn't be like messing with her. Every time she made a comment, I would just be shady to her, or I would just treat her like she does not exist in my world. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, I would just ignore the girl and just pay her dust and keep it pushing. But Jackie wants some type of apology, so she decides she's going to redo Evan's birthday party, and she just only invites the cast of the show, so it's 10 people. Joe tries to defend her brother. Before we get to the party, Michelle and Teresa meet up, because Michelle, like I said, is Teresa's realtor. And basically, Teresa says she can't work with her unless she fixes this thing with her brother. So I guess we're going to see that next episode, where John and Joe meet up to figure out like why is rumors being spread about him owing him money. So we switch back over to Evan's party. They're at like a really cute restaurant, and Jackie's just being dramatic to me, y'all. She being dramatic. She was talking to Joe and Melissa, and she actually apologized kind of to Joe and Melissa about her Gia comment, because you know that's her aunt and uncle. And then they're talking to her, and Jackie's talking about like what Teresa did was that made her feel her lowest. And I'm like, sis, you are putting 500 on 10 at this point. And also, I don't understand how Jackie does not get that Margaret deserved getting her hair yanked by Danielle, because you pour water in her face. Technically, pouring water on somebody is assault. So she was allowed to defend herself by yanking your ponytail. Like, that's why Margaret was like, she over it, which she needs to be, because she was out of order for pouring water on that lady. Because the argument they was having wasn't that serious for her to douse to that chick with the water. You lucky you got your hair yanked and that Danielle didn't punch you in the face. Or what's it called? What Monique did to Candace. Like, I could totally understand if she was mad at Danielle, if Danielle had assaulted her the way that Monique assaulted Candace. I could get that. But girl, you got your hair yanked because you threw water on her. You was asking for that. But we get back to Evan's party, and basically Jackie is pressed on Teresa. Jim was being an ass kisser and trying to defend Teresa. So was Dolores. And then Jackie gets up and she makes like a joke talking about, you know, shout out to all the girls my husband is effing at the gym. And then the episode ends. To me, like I said, they beating a dead horse, and I need them to get over this and move on to a different point. Because at this point, both of y'all know y'all not gonna get an apology. Jackie's not gonna apologize for her analogy, and Teresa is not gonna apologize for being a drunk at the party and being rude and being malicious and spreading that rumor. So at this point, it is what it is. Let it go. Let it go. But y'all, that's it. That's all, y'all. Like we like to say over here, be bravely authentic. Have a good weekend, a good night, a good day. Whenever you see this, just try your best to have a positive and good day. Deuces, y'all.